On our 20th wedding anniversary, an unexpected explosion at the hotel blinded me. As I drifted in and out of consciousness, I heard the doctor's grave inquiry, "Mr. Marcus, are you certain you want to forego treatment for Grace's eyes?" And my husband, the man I had loved for 20 years, who had feared the pain of childbirth for me and voluntarily gotten a vasectomy half a lifetime ago, said, "I am. Only with her blinded can I openly bring Summer and the child home. After hiding for so long, our family of 3 can finally be together." Tears of blood streamed uncontrollably. 20 years of unwavering loyalty and love had all been an illusion, a deceptive mirage. Such a laughable marriage, I'd rather not have it. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and let us know in the comments where you're listening from. Alright, just do as I say. Make sure she doesn't die. The doctor sighed, a hint of reluctance in their voice. Grace will be blind for the rest of her life, and you still want to remove her uterus? Isn't that too cruel? Cruel? Marcus seemed to let out a scoff. Summer has given birth to my children and raised them for so many years without asking for anything, willing to follow me without a proper title. That's what I call cruel. For all these years, I know she wasn't without resentment, she was simply too kind. Grace's eyes, let's just say they're my compensation to Summer. At this point, he paused, a rare occurrence, seemingly searching for more grand excuses. Besides, Grace was always committed to the dink, double no, lifestyle, so does it matter if her uterus is removed or not? Stop stalling and just do it. My uterus, my uterus. I struggled, trying to fight, wanting to scream no, but my body, dulled by anesthesia, grew heavier and heavier. No matter how much I tried to open my eyes, all I saw was a bloody red blur. The ticking sound of medical instruments starting up filled my ears, and the doctor sighed one last Tim. This was your 20th anniversary, you know. Yes, Marcus seemed to recall something, his voice softening. I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to her. And when Leo comes back, he'll call her mom too. Just, don't let her feel too much pain. He finished speaking and turned, walking out of the operating room. Outside the door, his assistant rushed over. "Mr. Marcus, we've already settled the criminal's family and paid them $5 million, lower your voice. We'll talk about this back at the office." The sound of the door closing faded, and cold, mechanical sensations ruthlessly surged into my body. Tears streamed down my face, but I didn't even have the strength to cry out loud. In my mind, years of memories flickered past, scene by scene. 20 years ago, Marcus and I fell in love. We were so poor we couldn't even afford condoms, which is why we decided on a dink, double no, lifestyle. He was afraid I'd be in pain and voluntarily suggested a vasectomy. On the day of the surgery, I looked at a frail Marcus and felt terrible for him, shedding tears, while he smiled carelessly and said, "Silly, I promised you that after our first night, I would never let you feel pain again." 15 years ago, our careers finally took off, and he gave me the grand wedding ceremony we never had. At this point, Marcus's parents started pressuring us to have children, so we took the opportunity to be open about our dink, double no, lifestyle. His parents couldn't understand at all and often caused arguments that ended badly. On one particularly radical occasion, they even kicked us out of their home on New Year's Eve. I also tentatively asked, "Marcus, given our current situation, should we reconsider having children?" But he shook his head firmly, "Having each other is enough. Besides, I don't want you to suffer the pain of childbirth." 8 years ago, Marcus's parents suddenly stopped pressuring us. At the same time, Marcus became increasingly busy, spending more and more time on business trips. He said that only with enough financial security could we ensure his parents wouldn't interfere with our choice. I was deeply touched, thinking he felt terrible for me. But now, I understood. He had started another family somewhere else. It turned out he didn't want children, he just didn't want my children anymore. 2. When I woke up again, I felt a towel on my face, as if someone was wiping sweat from my brow. I opened my eyes, but could only see a blurry mass of light and shadow. It took effort to focus and discern that it seemed to be Marcus. He looked at me carefully. "Grace, are you awake? Are your eyes any better?" I lowered my gaze, deciding to lie to him. "I can't see anything. Marcus, am I blind?" Don't be afraid, don't be afraid." Marcus gripped my hand, his voice filled with anxiety. "It's nothing, Grace. I promise I'll find the best doctors to treat you. Even if it can't be cured, it doesn't matter. I'll be your eyes from now on." His voice was still gentle, like the loving husband he had always been. But now, that gentleness had become a blunt knife, slowly cutting my heart open. How could one person deceive another to such an extent? Suddenly, I heard the doctor calling him from outside. Marcus kissed my forehead and whispered, "I'll be right back." The moment he stepped out of the hospital room, I reached for his phone, which he had left by the bed. I brought it close to my face and peered at it, letting out a self-deprecating laugh. In such a short time, he had already eagerly changed his lock screen. It was no longer our photo, but a picture of him with another woman and a boy of 7 or 8. The woman was young and beautiful, and when she smiled faintly, there was a hint of my former self in her eyes. But she possessed a layer of maternal tenderness that I lacked. And I was old, and blind. "Grace, what are you looking at?" Marcus rushed over, snatching the phone from me, his face panicked. I calmly said, "I wanted Siri to play some music for me." Marcus breathed a sigh of relief. "Just tell me if you need anything. Your eyes aren't good right now. What if you trip or bump into something?" Soon, my favorite light music played from the phone. "Grace, the doctor just told me your body has also been damaged. Your hormones are out of balance, and you might not have periods anymore. But these are minor issues, we can take medicine and slowly regulate them. Don't worry." I didn't speak, just listened quietly. He continued, "Grace, I was just thinking, I'm often at the company, and it's not convenient for you to be home alone. Nanny for you? She's from my relative's side, named Summer. She's very meticulous with her work. She also has a young child, who is very well behaved and doesn't make a fuss. I thought, with the two of them keeping you company, the house would be a bit livelier." I looked at Marcus's blurry figure, an endless sense of irony welling up in my heart. Summer, that Summer. So this was his plan, to openly bring his mistress and illegitimate child home, for their family reunion. "All right," I said, too weak to expose him, and nodded slightly. Marcus hugged me, his voice choked with emotion. "Grace, you've been through so much. I truly feel terrible for you." Tears dampened my shoulders. I closed my eyes, my tattered heart already numb from pain, unable to shed another tear. Late at night, when no one was around, I dialed my brother Ethan's number. "Ethan, help me find a divorce lawyer, and arrange for me to go abroad. Any country will do, the sooner the better." Marcus's ancestors had committed a crime, making it extremely difficult and requiring extensive review for him to go abroad. This time I was going to leave him for good. A week later, I was discharged from the hospital, and Marcus had brought Summer and the child named Leo home. My vision was slightly clearer than when I first woke up, enough to see the wrong tears in Summer's eyes. Marcus kissed her face soothingly again and again until she finally let go and turned her head, allowing Marcus to lead the child to me. "Grace, this is Leo. I've recognized him as my godson, and from now on, you'll be his godmother too. Leo, come, say mom." Leo opened his mouth very unhappily and dragged out a mom. I nodded and pulled out the gift envelope with money I had prepared from my bag, offering it to him. Marcus watched, a gratified smile on his face. Just then, my phone rang again. Marcus glanced at the screen and said displeased, "Why is your brother calling so much lately? He knows it's inconvenient for you." He answered the phone, and on the other end, Ethan urgently said, "Sis, the documents for going abroad, I've already." "Go abroad? What about going abroad?" Marcus interrupted nervously. "Your sister is going abroad? Grace, are you going abroad?" Ethan hastily corrected himself, No, I'm going abroad. I was just telling my sister." Marcus looked completely unconvinced. Holding the phone, he walked to the side to press for more answers. I glanced at the boy, then at Summer, who was sadly staring at Marcus, and felt only amusement and boredom. Was this some kind of melodramatic soap opera? Out of sheer boredom, I idly picked up a glowing ornament from the coffee table to play with. Unexpectedly, Leo suddenly lunged at me. "Give it to me. I want to play." I sneered slightly and sidestepped to avoid him. Leo became frantic and yelled at me, "Are you blind? I said I want it." Marcus moved his phone away and sternly scolded, "What's all this commotion? Haven't I told you to respect your aunt?" Leo pouted and ran aggrievedly to Summer's side. Summer stubbornly wiped away her tears, her voice choked. "Why are you being so fierce? I know there's no place for my son and me here. You lied to me about a reunion. I think Leo and I would be better off staying at their old place, not having to face anyone's disapproval." "What are you talking about?" Marcus lowered his voice, quickly glanced at me, and rushed forward to embrace the mother and son. "How could I not want you? This is my home, I am the master, and you are the mistress. Who made you feel like you had to face anyone's disapproval, right, son?" Leo chuckled and suddenly pushed Marcus's and Summer's heads together. The two adults' lips pressed together, and their faces instantly flushed. But they exchanged a glance and immediately kissed again, more passionately this time. Daddy and Mommy are kissing in front of Leo, how embarrassing. Leo giggled, covering his eyes. And I, sitting on the cold sofa, felt like a stranger, an outsider to the story. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Marcus and Summer, deep in their kiss, finally came to their senses and awkwardly separated. Daughter-in-law, we heard you were discharged from the hospital, so your father and I came to see you. Marcus's father and mother were carrying a basket full of fruits and health supplements. Entering, they saw everything before them and instantly froze. Dad, Mom, this is Summer from my relative's side, and her son Leo. He's my godson now. Come, say hello. Marcus's father immediately picked up Leo. Whoa, what a strong boy. Marcus's mother quickly took out cherries from the fruit basket. Here, Leo, Grandma will give you some fruit. Thank you, Grandpa and Grandma. Oh, what a well-behaved child, so endearing. Marcus put his arm around Summer's shoulder, smiling as he watched. Summer playfully hit him and then nestled into his embrace. They looked like a real family. I watched all of this numbly, made an excuse to go rest, and turned back to my room. The laughter from outside continued ceaselessly. I lay on the bed with my eyes open, not knowing how much time had passed. Outside the door, separated by a single wall, I suddenly heard Marcus's parents' hushed voices. Marcus has gotten bolder, he dares to bring his mistress directly home now. The older one's eyes are ruined now, so isn't this just convenient? Can you honestly say you don't want to see your grandson every day? The older one is quite pitiable, she's a good person, no matter how good, she's still a barren hen, and she even instigated our son to get a vasectomy. Summer is much more sensible than her. Hey, Marcus's father, look at them, spending every day together. Do you think we'll have a second grandson to hold soon? Oh, I think so too. Marcus has plenty of energy, haha. I lay with my eyes open, tears silently falling. So, Marcus's father and mother, who had always treated me well, also knew Marcus had another family outside. Every time Marcus defended me in front of them, saying he was committed to the double no lifestyle with me until the end, what was I in their eyes? After it quieted down outside, I got up, squinting with effort, and found the gold jewelry Marcus's mother had given me before. She had once said it was a family heirloom for the Zhou family's daughter-in-law. I rewrapped it and placed it on the nightstand. Let her give it to someone she deems more suitable. That night, Marcus didn't return to our room to sleep. He said he was working overtime in the study. But late at night, pressing my ear to the door, I heard continuous sounds of affection from outside. Leo can hear, let him listen. Let him hear how much his father loves his mother. Tears streamed down my face. I covered my mouth, afraid to make a sound. When I got up the next morning, only a table of cold porridge remained. I sat down, leaning on my white cane. By the doorway, Summer was straightening Marcus's tie as he prepared for work. Grace, is the breakfast Summer made delicious? He didn't forget to ask me, looking back. I nodded. Summer suddenly tugged on Marcus's tie and glared at him. Marcus laughed heartily and kissed her cheek. After he left, I leaned on my white cane, intending to go back to my room. Suddenly, I noticed something. The living room wall had always displayed our large, red wedding photo, but now, it was a blur of white light. I walked closer to examine it and finally saw that what was now hanging there was a family portrait in wedding attire of him, Summer, and Leo. My body couldn't help but tremble. Was going to erase every trace of my presence in this home, little by little? Grace, you're not completely blind, are you? Summer's sharp laughter rang in my ears. Isn't it thrilling to watch your man and me being intimate right in front of you? Marcus told me you're 40 now, and he finds your old wrinkles dirty and disgusting. She pulled down her collar, revealing numerous red marks. Look, he's been craving me so much. Leo rushed over from the side and pushed me to the ground. You blind old hag. Give back to me and Mommy. I was in so much pain that I broke out in a cold sweat. As I tried to get up and felt for my white cane on the floor, someone's shoe stomped hard on my hand. Ah! I cried out in pain. Suddenly, the door opened. Summer, quick as a flash, pinched Leo's face, and Leo immediately burst into tears, wailing. What are you doing? Marcus ran over and picked up Leo. Son, what happened to your face? Who pinched you? Leo pointed at me, crying, Aunt, she was trying to hit Mommy, and I stood in front of Mommy, so she pinched me. Marcus slapped me. Grace, are you crazy? I covered my face, laughing through the pain. Marcus, is he really just your godson? You hit me for him? A flicker of panic crossed Marcus's eyes. It's all my fault, Summer cried, slapping her own face. Miss Grace, believe me, I'm truly just Marcus's relative. The child isn't his either, Marcus. Ms. Grace misunderstood, thinking I seduced you, that's why she hit me. She was right to hit me, Grace. What nonsense are you spouting, being so paranoid all the time? Have your eyes and your heart both gone blind? If you bother them again, mother and son, I'll make you get out of my home. After he finished speaking, he picked up Leo and Yuled Summer, about to leave. Marcus, I called out to him one last time. You forgot something. He didn't turn his head, his voice full of disgust. What I forgot most was that you're a narrow-minded, jealous woman. I smiled, looking at his back. Marcus, this is the last time we'll ever see each other in this life. 5. In the following days, Marcus didn't come home. He was busy handling Leo's school transfer and enrollment. On the day of the opening ceremony, he was also supposed to give a speech as the parent representative, to make his son proud. How could he possibly care what I, a blind woman, was doing? It was almost his turn to speak. Summer was straightening his suit, and Marcus patted Leo's head, a smile on his face. But for some reason, a faint uneasiness crossed his mind. He took out his phone and saw that I hadn't sent him any messages for days. The most recent one was from the day of our 20th anniversary, before I lost my sight. Honey, today is our 20th anniversary. We have many, many more 20 years ahead of us. I will love you forever. Marcus stared blankly for a moment, then lowered his gaze to the red mark still lingering on Leo's face. He suddenly asked, back then, which hand did Grace use to pinch him? Summer froze, not understanding why Marcus was asking this. But she quickly rolled her eyes and said confidently, her left hand. Ms. Grace used her left hand to pinch him. After all, I had always used my right hand to hold my white cane. Grace's left hand. Marcus looked at her impassively. 15 years ago, when Grace was accompanying me during an inspection of new machinery at the factory, I accidentally triggered a cutting machine, and she shielded me. 3 fingers on Grace's left hand were severed horizontally. Afterwards, she wore prosthetic fingers that couldn't exert force. How could she have pinched him with her left hand? 6. Summer's face instantly turned pale. Marcus didn't say anything more. He just Ned and started calling me. But only a cold, mechanical voice responded, sorry, the user you dialed is currently switched off. Frustrated, he ripped off the tie Summer had just straightened for him, and continued making a WhatsApp call as he walked out. Summer gave a knowing look, and Leo immediately ran over, grabbing his leg. Don't make calls, Dad. You're about to go up and give your speech, don't bother me, Marcus roared. Leo flinched, shrinking his neck, and hid behind Summer. After repeatedly failing to connect, Marcus quickly scrolled through his contact list and then dialed my brother Ethan's number. Ethan, where's your sister? Oh, Mr. Marcus? On the other end of the line, Ethan let out a cold laugh. Actually, I was just about to call you. My sister's divorce contract is now being handled by me for the handover to you. I'll send it over for you to take a look. Marcus froze, seemingly sensing something, his voice trembling slightly. What divorce contract? What do you mean? What do I mean? Ethan's voice suddenly rose. My sister has gone abroad. She's divorcing you. Get lost with your mistress and illegitimate child. The moment the phone call ended, Marcus's face turned ashen white. Summer walked over and carefully took his arm, her voice soft. Marcus, what's wrong? Is Grace acting up again? Marcus immediately shook her off with such force that Summer almost fell. He glanced around, then started dazedly walking out of the auditorium. Marcus's father and mother, sitting further back, saw this scene and quickly stood up to stop him. Marcus, where are you going? It's almost your turn to speak as the representative. Don't you see Leo and his mother waiting there? What, his mother? Didn't I say it already? His mother is Grace. Marcus exclaimed agitatedly. But then, his voice dropped, a hint of confusion and helplessness in it. Grace said, she wants to divorce me. Divorce. Does she know everything? Marcus's father and mother exchanged glances. Marcus's mother tentatively spoke, so what if she divorces you? It's a good opportunity to let Summer move in. Anyway, Grace is blind, she'd just be a burden following you around. Wouldn't it be great for Summer and Leo to move in and for your family of 3 to finally be reunited? Marcus's father chimed in, exactly. And won't be called an illegitimate child by everyone anymore. Marcus stared at his parents' faces in disbelief, his eyes filled with disgust. Didn't you two drug me 8 years ago? It was you two who said Summer was a relative staying at our home that day, and then drugged me that night so I'd sleep with her. The next day, I told her to get out, and you kept saying how pitiful she was, just graduated from university, all her relatives dead, urging me to give her a place to belong. If only that hadn't happened, if only, none of this would be happening. Grace wouldn't be making such a fuss. Marcus's parents froze in place, exchanging bewildered glances. Leo ran over, hugged Marcus's leg, and cried, "Daddy, I'm sorry, don't scold Grandpa and Grandma." 7. Marcus looked down at the son he had always considered his very lifeblood, and for the first time a strange emotion arose within him, annoyance. He suddenly had a strong thought: how wonderful it would be if this were his and Grace's son. If, after his parents pressured him into getting the vasectomy reversed, he had honestly told Grace and stopped taking any preventive measures, would their child be this old by now? Would be standing here with him today, attending their child's opening ceremony? Whether it was a boy or a girl, Grace would surely have raised them well. She was such a gentle person. "Daddy, Aunt is gone, so can Mommy and I openly be with you now?" Leo's voice brought him back to reality. Marcus's mother also leaned in and said, "That's right, Marcus, think about Leo. Even for his sake, you should make Summer your proper wife." "I always said Grace had a bad temper. Making such a big deal out of divorcing over something so minor." "Shut up." Marcus interrupted her sharply, his voice laced with anger. "It's because you two constantly indulged him that he learned to lie at such a young age." He grabbed Leo's face, lifting him up. "That day," he said, "Grace pinched him. You know how Grace's fingers were severed. She's also blind. How could she have pinched him?" Leo burst into tears. "Wah! No, Daddy, I'm sorry." Marcus then dragged Leo in front of Summer, veins bulging on the back of his hand. "This is the wonderful son you've raised for me. Summer, I'm telling you. After today, I'll give you a sum of money, and you'll disappear. Leo will be Grace and my son from now on. You are no longer his mother." Summer's lips trembled, and she dared not say a word. Marcus left the auditorium. This time, no one dared to stop him. Inside the auditorium, many students and parents had witnessed the spectacle. Some were secretly taking photos, others posting on social media, but Marcus didn't care at all anymore. After stepping out, he immediately called Ethan. Ethan hung up. He then called his assistant. "Go find out. Find out where Grace is right now." The assistant nervously asked, "Mr. Marcus, which Grace are you referring to? What's wrong with you?" "There's only one Grace." "Grace? Check if she's left the country. If not, go block all airports and seaports. Don't let her leave the country." After hanging up the phone, he frantically began flipping through his contact list, calling my former colleagues and classmates, everyone he could think of. But they all said they hadn't been in touch with me recently. He didn't know if they were telling the truth or lying. Finally, he sat dejectedly by the roadside and lit a cigarette. Amidst the swirling smoke, his mind calmed slightly. He called his private doctor and good friend, Sam. "Sam, Grace seems to know. She's left. She doesn't want me anymore. She won't answer her phone. She sent her bro the are to tell me about the divorce." Marcus's fingers, holding the cigarette, were trembling. Sam sighed. "Marcus, to be honest with you, I suspect Grace heard everything during the surgery that day. On the operating table, I saw her crying terribly, but at the time, I just thought it was the physiological pain of the surgery. Now that you mention it, I suspect." The cigarette slipped from Marcus's hand and fell to the ground. Recalling his cold words that day, his heart went half cold. What said next chilled his heart completely. "And I told you before that explosion was a terrible idea." Yes, an explosion can cause eye damage, but it doesn't necessarily mean complete blindness. Grace might have just had reduced vision or something. "I told you to wait a few days and see Grace's condition, but you couldn't wait to bring Summer back. All those things you've been doing lately, Grace might have seen them all." Marcus's face suddenly turned ashen white. He hung up the phone, completely drenched in sweat, as if he had been caught in the rain. His phone screen lit up again. It was a message from me. Marcus's eyes widened. He fumbled to tap it open, only to find that in the chat box, it was the divorce papers I had sent him. 8. After getting off the plane, I arrived in Germany, and Daniel, my former university senior, came to pick me up. He stood at the arrival gate, wearing a dark trench coat, holding a brightly colored sign that he was vigorously waving. When he saw me, he smiled, the familiar tenderness in his eyes just as it had been during our university days. Back then, Daniel had also been very kind to me, and I couldn't say I didn't have feelings for him. It was just that later, I met Marcus. The resilient and intense brokenness about him immediately drew me in, so much so that I fell head over heels for this poor boy, moving with him to a big city to start a business and make a living. Daniel took my luggage, his voice relaxed. "Let's go, the car's outside." A long T. When Marcus was mentioned, his voice was filled with undisguised disgust. That bastard, he must have been crazy to treat you like that. If only I had known back then, I shouldn't have, I smiled and interrupted him. Let's not talk about him. Daniel, what's the news on the eye surgery at your hospital? It's all arranged, in 3 days. These next few days, I'll take you to see the nearby sites and help you get used to life in Germany. I said helplessly, I'm not sure if I'll be living here permanently yet. It's fine, just take a look around. The scenery outside the window gradually changed from cityscapes to the suburbs. I watched curiously and heard Daniel ask, have you never been abroad before? No. Actually, I had pleaded with Marcus before to travel abroad together. Although his family had a criminal history, making the departure procedures complicated, it wasn't entirely impossible to arrange. But he always complained it was too troublesome, saying there was enough to see in the country. Daniel frowned after hearing this, and said nothing more. By the way, Daniel, aren't you busy as a doctor? Do you have time to accompany me? I took a couple of days off specifically to help you lift your spirits. I felt a subtle shift in my feelings. When I asked about his family situation, he smiled again. Not married yet. I've been so busy with work all these years, no time to think about it. My parents have urged me a few times and I've gone on some blind dates, but it never felt right. None of them were the right person. Oh, and I'm a dink, double no, lifestyle proponent. I was surprised. Your parents know? They all know. They're quite supportive. My parents are very open-minded. They believe life is your own, and you can live it however you want. If there's no one you click with, then don't get married. If there is, even a second marriage is perfectly fine. As he spoke, he turned his head, and the ears beneath his hair were faintly flushed. During this time, I also saw a lot of news from home. The incident at the opening ceremony that day was exposed by many. Marcus was a prominent businessman in the city, and as soon as this incident broke, he immediately plunged into a public opinion crisis. Although it was an unspoken rule in the industry that these businessmen weren't entirely clean, they certainly couldn't have public image problems. While he was overwhelmed, Marcus's father and mother came forward to clarify, stating that Marcus and I had already divorced a long time ago, and it hadn't been exposed for the sake of the company's image. They claimed that later, when my eyes had problems, Marcus felt terrible for me and continued to take me in. But for some reason, just as public opinion began to shift slightly, Marcus immediately came out to clarify, saying that he and I had never divorced and never would. He even changed all his social media platforms' profile pictures to our wedding photo. Reporters photographed him standing in the rain, lost in thought, several times, as if he had lost his soul. Seeing these news reports, Daniel scoffed, pure performative personality. No matter how much he pretends to be deeply devoted, it's all fake. I didn't really take these true and false news reports to heart. A few days later, Daniel accompanied me all the way to the operating room. Don't be nervous, Grace. It's a minor surgery. If your eyes heal, I'll tell you a secret. I didn't need him to say it, I already knew, he still liked me. I wasn't a teenage girl experiencing first love, I was naturally aware of these unspoken affections. But, even if my eyes healed, I was still not ready to step into another relationship. 9. During this time, Marcus began to drink heavily, locking himself in his home all day, completely ignoring all company matters. The empty living room was piled with countless liquor bottles. Marcus lay slumped among them, reeking of alcohol, his eyes hollow, staring at the being photo newly rehung on the wall. Tell me, was I wrong? He suddenly asked. His assistant stood nearby, answering cautiously, it's not for me to judge whether what happened between you and Grace was right or wrong, but boss, Grace, she was truly wonderful. Everyone at the company thought she was very gentle and never put on airs. Especially the female employees, they really liked her. Grace often prepared small gifts for the female staff, saying it's tough for young women to find jobs these days. The assistant paused, then sighed. During this company's public relations crisis, most of those who resigned were women. They said they were very disappointed in you. Marcus's hand trembled, and a liquor bottle crashed to the floor. Yes, Grace was so good. All those past scenes flashed through his mind like a revolving lantern. In the early days of their startup, he and Grace were so poor they could only afford instant noodles and cheap bread. When cooking 2 packets of instant noodles, Grace would always serve him a large bowl, leaving only a few bites for herself. Later, the company started to improve, but then faced an investment crisis. Without a word, Grace went to her parents' home and knelt, begging her parents and relatives for money. In the heavy snow, her knees turned purple with cold, and all her relatives told her she had married the wrong man, but she said she was willing. When he was tired, there was always a bowl of hot soup waiting at home. When he was upset, someone would stay up late with him, talking things through. Marcus's tears silently fell. He recalled the incident with Summer that year. He originally didn't want to deal with that woman again, but his parents told him Summer was pregnant. He thought at the time that Grace didn't want children, so he would painlessly have a child for her to honor her. But slowly, because Grace was completely unaware of anything, he became bolder and bolder, thinking that since he was so rich and had done it so well, there was no harm in supporting another family. Why was he so careless? No, why did he have such a crazy idea back then? To cause an explosion to blind Grace's eyes. I'm the one who should be blind. Marcus violently smashed a liquor bottle to the floor. Glass shards splattered onto his face, and blood trickled out. After that, no matter how many times Summer and his parents called him, he hung up on all of them. Summer sent him texts, showing weakness and begging for forgiveness, saying she could move back to that city and wouldn't bother him anymore. Marcus remained irritable and ignored her. That day, his parents came with Summer and Leo to confront him. Summer was crying her eyes out, and Marcus's father accused him, "Look how you've scared Summer and Leo. Our family doesn't have good-for-nothing cowards who abandon their wife and child like you." Marcus's mother also said, "Son, Grace is a thing of the past now. Summer, a girl 10 years younger than you, can't bear your betrayal any more than she already has." Marcus smiled. "Summer, why don't we give each other some dignity?" Summer didn't understand, her voice trembling. "Marcus, I know you don't love me, but I just want to be by your side. Do I have to say it myself?" Marcus snapped. "Leo is not my child at all." It turned out that during this time, he had also discreetly gotten a paternity test results, and the results only made him feel like a joke. What? How could that be? "Marcus, don't scare your father and me," Marcus sneered, throwing the paternity test results over to them. Marcus's father and mother trembled as they opened it, their faces instantly turning pale. "Grandpa, Grandma." Leo was terrified, wanting to tug at the hem of his grandmother's clothes, the one who doted on him most. "Get out." Marcus's mother screamed, her eyes red with fury. "This is an abomination." Marcus's father slapped her. "Summer, we took you in and raised you for all these years. You lived off the Marcus family. And you had my son being cheated on. You harlot. I didn't mean to." Ah. While they were still arguing, Marcus walked away without looking back. Just then, his assistant suddenly called. "Mr. Marcus, as chairman, we found Grace's exit record. She went to Germany." Marcus's eyes blazed with excitement. "What are we waiting for then? Quickly help me with the procedures to leave the country. No matter how much trouble it is, we have to do it, and I don't care how much it costs." "But," the assistant said meekly, "Grace's parents have reported it to the police, saying you're suspected of deliberately orchestrating the hotel explosion to kill someone. The police are currently investigating, so you cannot leave the country for now." 10. The surgery was a success. With help, I began exercises to recover my eyesight. Every morning, Daniel would accompany me to see the greenery in the hospital garden. Sunlight filtered through the leaves onto the ground, and the warm rays gave me a feeling of new life. My parents and brother came to visit me. They brought news. Enough evidence had been found, and they were preparing to sue the Marcus family to make Marcus go to jail. "Grace, don't worry, this time we'll make him pay," my dad said firmly. My mom's eyes welled up as she gently touched the corner of my eye. "Even though our family isn't wealthy, we will never compromise for money. You've suffered so much, and we must get justice for you." I was deeply moved. I knew that if I had peacefully negotiated the divorce with Marcus, our home would have definitely received a significant amount of money, but my parents decided to fight the case to the very end. "Dad, Mom, thank you," I said, my voice thick with emotion. Actually, I still felt fortunate. I had a family that loved me so much, and I had seen the true colors of that scoundrel while I was still relatively young. Ethan chimed in, "Sis, don't forget about me. I'm your strong support too. I've been ranting line about that jerk Marcus in so many posts." I smiled, a comforting warmth spreading through my heart. On the day I saw my parents and brother off to the airport back to the country, Daniel also came along to bid farewell. Ethan squinted at him, then suddenly slapped his forehead. "Oh. Sis, isn't this the guy who used to pursue you back in university? Later, when you and that jerk Marcus moved to their old place, he even came to our home asking about you." My parents found it amusing too, winking and nodding knowingly at me. Grace, he's a good one, you should seize the opportunity. Daniel blushed, turning his head to pretend to look at the scenery. I said helplessly, Dad, Mom, your daughter hasn't even recovered from the pain yet. Don't talk about all this nonsense. Just a few days after my parents left, a man I never expected to see appeared before me, Marcus. He looked as if he'd aged more than a decade, his face covered in stubble, clothes wrinkled. He glared fiercely at Daniel, who was walking beside me, then looked at me pitifully. Grace, you. Marcus? How did you get out of the country? I pulled some strings. Marcus reached out to grab me, but I dodged him. He grew anxious. Grace. I came to tell you, Leo is not my child. I had a paternity test, and from now on, that mother and son will completely disappear from our lives. Will you come back with me? I was wrong. Marcus, what are you even talking about? I scoffed, a bitter laugh escaping me. You ruined me like this. You paid $5 million to orchestrate an explosion just to bring Summer into our home. Do you have any idea I could have been blown to pieces? And now you're telling me you want me to go back with you? If I go back this time, how else do you plan to torment me? Daniel, standing nearby, was shocked to hear this. He only knew that Marcus and I had marriage problems, but he had no idea something like this had happened. Furious, he rushed over and kicked Marcus hard, sending him to the ground. Marcus didn't struggle at all. He knelt down and cried, saying, I was wrong, Grace. I'll give you all my money, all right? You can use $5 million to torment me, any way you want, you can even kill me, just don't leave me. And then? I asked coldly. And then what? If I forgive you, everyone who loves me will be heartbroken. I held up my left hand, showing 3 prosthetic fingers, then pointed to the scar near my eye. Do you see this? Marcus, you've tormented me for 20 years. How else do you intend to torment me? Daniel turned away, unable to bear it, tears streaming down his face. That day, Marcus stared blankly into my eyes for a long time. It was the last time we ever saw each other. After returning, he turned himself in and went to prison. On the day I saw the news of Marcus's arrest, Daniel patted my shoulder. I stretched, feigning a relaxed tone. It's fine. Daniel, my eyes have pretty much recovered now. After a while, I'd like to travel the world. Daniel paused. Grace, I might not have time to accompany you. I'm not asking you to accompany me. This time, I want to see the world by myself. Daniel looked at me for a long time. Finally, he gave a bitter smile. All right, I respect that. But, if you've seen the whole world and still think this man here isn't so bad, I'll wait for you forever. I nodded. Waving goodbye to Daniel, I embarked on a new journey. Past 40, life was just beginning. And, thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.